can Will Shipley be the next Christian McCaffrey? CMC. Now, Al, you didn't know what CMC was because you're not a Panther fan.
No.
So you didn't even care about that, Mr. non-Panther fan over here.
True story.
But the question is, and let me pull up my notes here. But the question is, can Will Shipley be that guy? Now let me pose some things to you. Let me set this up for you first, and get in the comments if you think yes or no, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you think. Actually, don't hit the thumbs down because you might accidentally hit thumbs down on the video. I don't want you to do that. So Christian McCaffrey, Houston, 2015. All right, he was a sophomore in 2015. Man, it seems like forever ago, right? 2,019 yards rushing, 1,000 yards kick return, and 645 yards receiving, 13 total touchdowns. All right, so over 3,700 yards all purpose. It is sophomore year. Now he declined in his 2016 year, his junior year. He didn't do as much kick returning, and so he was about 2,000 yards total with 16 total touchdowns there in his junior year. But when I go back and I watch Christian McCaffrey, he's a guy, looks very similar to Will Shipley. Well, I'll say Will Shipley looks very similar to him because of the age difference there. You gotta pay respect to your elder there. But he runs extremely hard on almost every highlight I saw. You just see him planting his feet extremely hard. Obviously, he's one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in the league right now. Debatable for sure. If you're a fantasy football guy, he probably is the best guy for you, considering all the things he can do. But what he was really good at, man, he was a running back screen killer. He would always be open, and he had soft hands, man. He could catch just about everything that came his way, and he would get open and find a way to get open. He had skills in literally all types of plays. He had I formation. He had the spread. He, like I said, he could do the screens. He could go out wide. He literally could do everything and do everything at a high level. And then obviously kick returning as well as a sophomore. Now he really didn't come on the scene as a freshman. So Will Shipley, on the other hand, now as a freshman, 1,121 all-purpose yards, 11 touchdowns. So as far as like on the score sheet, it's on the stat sheet, I guess you could say, he's already kind of got a leg up because he had a really good freshman year as far as yards are concerned. So he's a little bit ahead of where McCaffrey was. But I've noticed in some of the forums, there's still some doubt whether or not can he be that guy. Houston, we'll start with you. What do you think? Can he be that guy? Is he already that guy? Or if not, why not? But my big thing is, what does he need to do this year to really kind of get up in that level of the CMC?
Well, here's the thing. This is a twofold answer, okay? I don't think it's fair to compare him to Christian McCaffrey. I don't think they have the same body type at all. I think Christian McCaffrey was more of a scoot back, get him in space, get him able to jitterbug and move and, get into open space. Will Shipley can be a hammer as far as that goes. I saw someone talk about, tripped up leg tackles. How many times did we see that with Travis Etienne in his freshman year? A ton. Not saying that Shipley is as fast as Travis Etienne. There's not many people that can say that. But with Will Shipley, I think what you're looking at with his type, he's more someone of another Stanford back that was in the Heisman race that I would put more comps to, like Toby Gerhardt. He's faster, and I think he can end up being stronger than him. But he's someone that, yes, you can get him in space. You can get Shipley in space, and he can go. But he's not also afraid to hit somebody either. You think about it. I don't think there's been a time in Clemson's history where they've got three sort of semi-similar backs that can do something a little different between Shipley, Pace, and Maffa. But at the end of the day, all three of those backs can just wear you down. And that's the biggest thing that I see with this. Can Shipley be the guy? Be someone that maybe eventually in the next year or two is in New York? Absolutely. But I don't know if I think it's fair to compare him to Christian McCaffrey.
Alan, do you agree? I know you're not a Panther fan, but do you agree that that with what Houston says, that it's not necessarily a fair comparison or apples to apples comparison there?
Yeah, it's not exactly the same. So what I think Shipley has to do, and I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know what Christian McCaffrey did as a freshman, as far as catches. But if he wants to be that guy that can do everything, he's got to catch the ball out of the backfield, which he did not do his freshman year. He had several drops that should not have happened, and he'll tell you the same thing because, like you were talking, I think you were talking about him. You were going back and forth a little bit there, but I'm pretty sure Shipley had great touch in high school, great, really soft hands in high school. It was something we talked about in the recruiting video. Caught everything. He did not do that as a freshman here. And as Houston mentioned, they're a little bit different back. Shipley is a little bit bigger, can bulldoze people if you need be, but he's also really quick. A lot of people want to talk about arm tackles. Yeah, it seemed to me like a lot of times he might have hit a lane and tried to cut a little too fast, got tripped up a little bit, something like that. He'll get out of that. That's no problem. He'll maintain his balance. He'll work on that through the offseason. I'm not overly concerned about that. I think they're going to be similar with the impact that they make. Now, Christian McCaffrey was kind of the guy. I mean, he was Stanford's really entire offense. So, maybe Shipley doesn't quite get the love because we still have Pace, who's an awesome running back. We still have Maffa. We got other guys to talk about other than Christian McCaffrey. So we've got kind of a three-headed monster there. And I think it's going to be a little bit different. I don't know that he's going to be able to be singled out quite as much as McCaffrey was, but we'll see how it goes. He turns out to be, like Christian McCaffrey, then Clemson's going to be in good shape, so I'm not worried about it.
Let's get in the chat and see what you have to say, because again, this is about you getting a part of the show. If you join the live show, you can do that every Thursday, 7 p.m. All right, so AU guys, or should I say all guys, let me know in the chat how to say your name. But he just seems to have a little more power than Shipley. A lot of arm tackles on Ship last year.
That's what
do you think, Houston?
That's the comment that I saw earlier. I was like, incomplete. I wouldn't say like, a lot of arms. You're talking about finished Christian McCaffrey product versus freshman Will Shipley. Now, look, if we get midway through this year and he's constantly being tripped up at the line of scrimmage, it's another thing.
Sure.
But I also think like it's going to be the approach for using Shipley, because that's the other thing too. We didn't exactly know. The running back room looked completely different around this time last year. We were talking about Lynn J, Mikey Dukes, what they're going to be doing, how they're going to.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Now it's Shipley. It's his time. He's going to get his reps. Pace is going to get his reps. Moffitt's going to get his reps. So
he says John gets in on Facebook, says McCaffrey, or he meant McCaffrey, wore out his body. Yes, he plays hard, but can't do that forever. Hope Shipley can take care of his body. It kind of goes back to what Al was saying. McCaffrey was like literally the guy. So thankfully, Clemson doesn't have to rely on the guy, which will take away from his potential opportunities, right, which is something you have to be okay with. But to be honest with you, in today's world, you don't get a lot of years as a running back because you get beat up so bad. So it really has turned into a more running back by committee, which is a good thing for those legs to keep them as healthy as possible. Timothy gets in over on YouTube, says Shipley is a lot thicker. I will agree with that. When I look at the two film, I did notice that it seemed like Ship has some thicker upper body than McCaffrey did. Now, McCaffrey still could lay a stiff arm on you, but it seems like Shipley's pretty. He's kind of getting there, Now, I'll say on the other side of things, CMC, he had a cut move that was just sick. I mean, literally the best in the Pac-12 could not handle any of his moves. So, and I will say this too, a lot of Shipley's pretty decent highlights came against NC State, came against Pittsburgh, so he was able to show what he could do against some of the better teams in the ACC. I would like to see him, really turn it up a notch, obviously, as a sophomore year. As Al mentioned, he would tell you the same as well. Bible Belt says Shipley just getting acclimated to the college game last year. I think that's true. Think about it. I mean, McCaffrey only had 300 yards as a freshman, I believe, rushing, so a little bit over 300. So Shipley is already ahead of the game when it comes to at least opportunities that are out there. So Big Mick gets in and says Clemson running backs are so mechanical. I need to see them more fluid to see the hole and attack, rather than running into the back of his offensive line. Al, we'll throw that to you. Did you feel like that the running backs ran into their back of their offensive line a lot last year?
Not in particular, but I mean, in all honesty, Clemson's offensive line was not very good last year. So
You're getting in the way, man.
maybe the defensive line's pushing the offensive line into the running back as opposed to the other way around. I mean, obviously they're supposed to be patient and wait for their gaps to open up, and if the gaps don't open up, I mean, there's nowhere to go. So maybe I'm just misremembering, but I don't remember a ton of that. But I'm sure it happened, like I said, with a weak OL last year, or substandard play. Maybe it happened more often than I remember.
The famous Allen misremembrance.
That's right.
Al Coons gets in, says Houston is spot on yet again. You know what? Houston,
mail.
You have earned your spot in the middle of the screen yet again, my friend. Just the fans love you. I mean, my goodness. Mel gets in, says Shipley not as fast as high school film portrayed him to be. I haven't seen him outrun nobody. Houston, what do you think?
Did you watch the South Carolina game by any chance, or the Iowa State game? You had a game in that one. I mean, I don't think he's going to win an 80-yard sprint with a DB
against yours truly.
Yeah, well, I think he'd beat you, Morgan, but don't worry.
I don't. Hey, don't put an L on me yet. Let me have my opportunity.
I think he's a different type of back. Like, not every back is going to be a 4-3 sprinter or whatever, and that's fine. Like, generally, those are the types of backs that can last longer if they're take care of their bodies. And that's all you need. As long as you're a hammer, that's okay.
Bible Belt says, I remember watching Ship outrun the entire Gamecock defense.
Exactly.
Well, I appreciate everybody getting in on the chat there. I think it's a good discussion. It's really fun discussion because, hey, we're comparing him to literally one of the best. So the fact that he has that opportunity and has the talent to get there, again, as Houston mentioned, different. So if you say, oh man, he's going to be the next Christian McCaffrey, he is kind of different. It's not, you can't really compare him straight up.